بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه صلى الله عليك يا ولي العصر أدركنا وأرشدنا. This is the fifth session and will be the last session of this series about Imam Mahdi alayhi salam in the Quran. So, just quick recap or just see where we are. So, we categorize the Quranic verses in 7 categories, and as I said, this was just one way to look at them. There are many books written in this subject, depending on how broad you want to look into it. So, the first 3 categories are the ones that we said they are explicit. And in Zahir, the apparent text of the Quran is talking about concepts related to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. The continuity of divine representation on earth, which is a monumental belief of Shia, which leads to believe in Imam Mahdi and his existence and being alive, and other topics that we talked about. The promise of God about earth, the promise of God about his religion, the one that he's happy with, basically. And we also talked about Imam Mahdi's occultation. And through these discussions, we talked a lot about Quranic sciences, as they call it, the patterns of Quran, and understand more about how Quran elaborates things and talks about them. So today, inshallah, we will cover the two last topics, which one is return of Jesus alayhi salam, and the last one Raj'ah. So, the return of Jesus is very bold in Sunni ahadith as well, and that's important to pay attention to. Which, if we think deeper about this, it will support the Shia belief. So we will, inshallah, talk about it more. So, do you know, or can you think of the ayat that they talk about the return of Jesus in Quran? Have you ever thought about it, that where Quran is talking, or at least hinting about it? It's interesting, right? This is one of the concepts that Christians, they strongly believe it, and Quran, we want to see where and how. So there is one interesting ayah in Quran in Surah Nisa, verse 159. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإن من أهل الكتاب إلا ليؤمنن به قبل موته ويوم القيامة يكون عليهم شهيدا. I like see people's gesture here and reactions when they see that verse. Maybe you never thought about it. It's very interesting. Oh yeah. There is none among the people of the book, Ahl al-Kitab, but will surely believe in him before his death. Okay, as I have said before, one of the interesting things in Quran is the Dhama'ir, right? When they, like when ayat uses he, she, their, how and to whom they're referring to. And that's one of the examples of purposefully being vague, right? And it opens the gate to new or multiple meanings in one ayah. Anyway, but that's a question, right? So there is none among the people of the book, but will surely believe in him before his death. Him, who is his death, his, like, who is he? That before his death, they believe in him. Are they, is it referring to themselves? And then that person, related to our discussions before, that person, يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. He will be the witness for them on the day of judgment, وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, right? It's a very interesting ayah, right? So I wanted to again pause, you think about, and there is a beautiful story, which because whoever thinks about this ayah, they see that ambiguity and like do Ahlul Kitab really believe before their death? Right? What this ayah is talking about. So Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, alayhi la'anullah, he has a beautiful story here. So he says, basically the narrator is, I'll read and explain, translate, Shahr ibn Hawshab. He says, Hajjaj once told me, this is in Shia books, told me that there is an ayah in Quran which has perplexed me. Like, I'm so confused about it. He says, what is that ayah? He reads this ayah that we are talking about, which I hope I have perplexed you a little bit at least. So he says, subhanallah, Hajjaj, is known to be very brutal and killing left and right. Shias, Christians, others. So this is the explanation he says. He says, إني لآمر باليهودي والنصراني فتضرب عنقه ثم أرمقه بعيني فما أراه يحرك شفتيه. So I command the Christians and Jews to be beheaded in front of me, and I do not see them moving their lips before they die. So I don't see this ayah. So he was trying to experiment this ayah. Yeah, scientific experiment about this ayah. That's what I say, alayhi la'anullah. And he says, you know what? This ayah is confusing me because I have killed a lot of Jews and Christians, and I have not seen, and I was watching the scene, I have not seen them moving their lips saying, oh, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, or I believe in Jesus, or whatever that's talking about, right? And they will not, I have seen them, they don't do that. So فقلت أصلح الله الأمير ليس على ما تأولت. Bro, this is not the way that you thought, right? Amir, dear king, respected king, this is not the way that, it's not the way that you thought. The ta'wil, the meaning of this ayah is not what you thought. And of course, you can tell from the scene and surrounding things about this story, it was not an freedom of speech situation, right? He was very cautious about like words, and you will see that at the end of the story as well. So, and then he says, okay, what is it? Tell me what is the story about. قلت إن عيسى ينزل قبل يوم القيامة إلى الدنيا. So Jesus alayhi salam will return to earth, on this earth, before day of judgment, and فلا يبقى أهل ملة يهودي ولا نصراني إلا آمن به قبل موته. Because according to our belief, Jesus alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, is not dead, he's alive. So his death has not happened, basically. قبل موت Isa, before Jesus dies, all the Ahl al-Kitab, Christians and Jews, they believe in him. And that's when he is returning on earth, then they will believe in him. وَيُصَلِّ خَلْفَ الْمَهْدِي, and he will pray behind Mahdi, Isa alayhi salam. So this ayah, because again, if you do the experiment, if you had thought about this ayah before, it's not true, right? Because we see Christians, they die. So if of course it is talking about something special, because if you say, oh, all the Christians will believe in him before his death, they already are Christian, right? So what is it talking about? And then Isa will pray behind Mahdi, and Hajjaj realizes this is not an easy answer. So he's like, where did you get that from? Like, that answer doesn't look, you came up with it, right? And then he says, حدثني به محمد بن علي بن الحسين بن علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم صل على. Imam Baqir alayhi salam informed me about this, and he taught me this ta'wil of the ayah. And now at the end, basically he says, Wallahi, جئت بها من عين صافية. You got the knowledge from a pure source, right? So back to the ayah. This ayah is one of the ayat that is talking about the return of Jesus alayhi salam, and the fact that everyone will believe in him when all the Ahlul Kitab and Jews, when they see he's back, and he is praying behind Imam Mahdi, which we'll talk about, and we'll see the hadith from Sunni sources as well. So the next ayah about this topic is also very interesting. وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. It's talking about Jesus. The context is about Jesus. وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ فَلَا تَمْتَرُنَّ بِهَا وَاتَّبِعُونَ هَذَا صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمٌ. Indeed, he is a portent of the hour. So do not doubt it and follow me. This is a straight path. So the fact that Jesus, and by the way, this ayah has different qira'at. Alamun lis-sa'ah. We have it in other qira'at, which basically means sign, clue, right? Alam. What does alam mean? Yes, flag is sign, right? Is the guide, is the sign. So Jesus alayhi salam is one of the signs of Qiyamah. So what about Jesus that is sign of the Qiyamah? His return. When he returns to earth, it is a sign that Qiyamah is close, is happening very soon. And this is something that when we talk with non-Shias, like Sunnis, this concept is so bold among them, but if we can elaborate good enough, we can bridge it to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam and the fact that he is a divinely appointed person. He is higher than Jesus. So look at these three hadith in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, and Mu'jam Tabarani. So the very important, highly authenticated books respected among Sunnis, right? So Bukhari narrates from Prophet, كيف أنتم إذا نزل ابن مريم فيكم وإمامكم منكم. What would your situation be like? How do you feel about it if I tell you that Isa alayhi salam will return, will descend to earth among you, and the Imam of you is among you? Like, there's an Imam from you while Jesus descend. So more specific, with more details, hadith is narrated by Muslim in his Sahih that Isa alayhi salam فَيَنْزِلُ عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمْ فَيَقُولُ أَمِيرُهُمْ. Look at this. This is the Sunni hadith, of course. We don't expect too much details, but still, I think we can easily argue that it's very clear about what he's saying. Jesus alayhi salam will descend. Amir, the lead and the leader of people, will say, Ta'al salli bina, come pray with us. So, meaning that, like, lead our prayer, because you will see in the following hadith explaining it. Jesus alayhi salam says no, because you have basically a leader, an imam among you, takramatan lil Allah, takrimatullah li hadhihi al-ummah. As an Allah has honored you ummah with an imam within you. So basically, in a simple words, you have better than me. So you don't need me to come to lead the prayer. Which basically the same similar hadith from Huzaifa in Mu'jam Tabarani, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi says, when Mahdi alayhi salam comes, the Jesus alayhi salam will descend like a drop of water that comes down, right? Comes. فَيَقُولُ الْمَهْدِي, Mahdi alayhi salam will say, تَقَدَّمْ صَلِّ بِنَا. When it says تَقَدَّمْ, it means come forward, like lead us. Isa alayhi salam says, إِنَّمَا أُقِيمَتِ الصَّلَاةُ لَكَ. That's a very important word. The prayer is set up for you. You are the imam. فَيُصَلِّي خَلْفَ رَجُلٍ مِّنْ وُلْدِ. Isa alayhi salam will pray behind one of my sons from my offspring. Right? So, فَإِذَا صليت قام عيسى, right, حتى جلس في المقام فيبايعه. Basically, they will, even Isa will do bay'ah to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. So, and this is very famous, as I said, among Sunnis. I took a screenshot from the website of Ben Baz. Those of you know him, one of the great muftis in Saudi who passed away. Salafi, very famous Ben Baz. So there was a question and answer when he was asked. Look at the ayat that he was referring to. وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ, and then he وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَا يُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ. So he explains that. So basically, he says the return of Jesus has been repeatedly mentioned in ahadith, and Quran talks about it. And that the beginning of the page, if you see ذاك الوقت المهدي, so أن أميرهم ذاك الوقت المهدي. Ben Baz is clarifying the Amir that we saw in Bukhari is Mahdi in that time. Yes, in their view, وهو محمد بن عبد الله من بيت النبي, he's from the ذرية فاطمة, he is from the offspring of Fatima. And then Mahdi alayhi salam will tell Jesus, come lead the prayer. He says, no, salli anta, you lead the prayer. So question is, how is that possible? Hazrat Isa, the great prophet, one of the Ulul Azm prophets, will say, no, this is for you. You have this title. And then he will pledge allegiance to Mahdi. So can Mahdi, dear Sunni brothers and sisters, in your view, when you explain this hadith, can Mahdi be just a random pious person? Just a sheikh that is super pious? Doesn't make sense. That Jesus is talking to him, because according to their basically current view, current system, as we said before, there's no divinely appointed person, right? So how is that possible that Jesus alayhi salam is telling him, that's your position, I follow you, I pray behind you? And prophet, as you can see, is kind of, in my like simple word, bragging about this. Isa will pray behind one of my sons. Look at my honor. Yes, that hadith, it has that implication that Jesus will pray behind one of my sons. So that person cannot be just a random Muslim, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions, any comments about this before we go to our last topic, which is Raj'ah? Yes, please.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam.
Can you go back to the slide which has the translation, the previous one? So it says, indeed, no, the second one, the next one. Indeed, he has the knowledge of the hour, right? He knows the hour. So who is he referred to over here?
It is about Jesus. The context is about Jesus.
So he has the knowledge of the hour, so he knows when he's going to come. Is that what it means?
No, it doesn't mean that. It says وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. It doesn't say he knows the knowledge. So first of all, as I said, this ayah has two qira'at, if you are familiar with that. Has two ways of pronunciation or reading. And that has been recorded, and it's something Ben Baz also mentioned in his word. He says, وقرأ بعض القراءة علم بفتح العين واللام أي دليل على قربها. Yeah, now you understand what was wrong with my earlier explanation. Okay, so number one, this has been read in two ways: ilm, knowledge; alam, sign. Okay. However, even when you read it as ilm, it doesn't mean he has the ilm of sign. It doesn't say وَإِنَّهُ لَعَالِمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ, because we actually that contradicts many verses of Quran which says no one knows the knowledge of the time but Allah Himself. Even Prophet, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ كَأَنَّكَ حَفِيٌّ عَنْهَا. Like they ask you, Prophet, about the time of Qiyamah as if you know about it. No, no one. This is the ilm mutlaq of God is only and only belong to Him. No one belongs to Him. No one knows about it. So here, even if you read it as ilm, it will mean وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. This is like a knowledge, also meaning that the sign, right? This is a not that he, Jesus alayhi salam, is the translation is not that he knows about the time of the hour, right? Does that make sense? وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ, not لَعَالِمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ. عالم الساعة is God only and only. He has not revealed that knowledge to anyone, even our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any other question here?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Check the chat. All right. So let's talk about the concept of Raj'ah. We talked about this briefly last time when we had Mikyal class, and we want to talk a little bit more about this in this context. So what is Raj'ah, first of all? What is Raj'ah? Sorry, return. That's a literal meaning. Raj'ah means he returned, to return. The belief of Raj'ah, in very summary, is we believe that according to Quranic verses and the traditions of Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, groups of people will return alive to this earth, okay, before the day of judgment. Okay, groups of people, not all, groups of people will return to earth, will be revived, and will live another life before the day of judgment. So before we talk about the ayat, since we have some time, why is that? That's a fair question. Why? Yeah, one answer is that's God's will. Okay. No question. Okay, peace. But God is wise. So, what is the wisdom? Is there any wisdom there that we can understand and we say, wow, such a great plan that God wants to do that? So, as we're gonna read the hadith and first Quran mentions that groups of people will return, not everyone. And in another ayah, there's more explanation. Basically, the best of the best and the worst of the worst will come back to earth, especially the ones that they have not been punished, or in my words, they died while being honored, right? Think about that. Yes, throughout the history, especially the groups and tyrants and kings and all that Quran talks about them, some of them, they died in high level status and being honored, right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, of course, يوم القيامة is reserved. Peace, right? لمن الملك اليوم لله الواحد القهار. But Allah says, أنا رب العالمين. I am basically the sovereignty of this world and hereafter belongs to me. Yes, for some other wisdoms, I let things happen. I let the tyrants have time. I gave them time. But they should not think, and I don't let others think that, oh, you know what? We won dunya. We got it. Okay, akhirah, your time. Okay, but at least we were able to punch you a little bit, to establish and there is a beauty in that as well, to show Allah to show his sovereignty and his power, and also to basically have the back of the believers, his team, say, okay, don't think that we lost. It was just a little bit of time, but especially those that they died, as I said, while being honored, or they died unpunished, right? Even in this dunya. Don't worry. I will show my power. I will bring them back to this earth. And the best of the best, again, awliyaullah, my team, especially the ones that they were killed ظلman, while being oppressed, and their level, their honor, what they deserved was not realized. People didn't appreciate them because of the wrongdoers' actions, and they blocked the path. They made the water muddy and all. So I said, I have a will. I will bring both groups back. Don't get me wrong, but in that moment, I don't care about the gray area. People that they were living, okay. The key players in this battle between truth, haq and batil, and falsehood, truth and falsehood, I will bring them back. And then I establish and manifest and show my power. And this is what is needed for justice. So this is not just a show. There's another wisdoms in that because Allah is just, not only they will punish the wrongdoers and reward the good doers, the pious ones, in hereafter, Yawm al-Qiyamah, but in this world, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Do you remember those ayat that Allah said, I have promised? This is my promise. Even people like we have the ahadith, for example, Ashab al-Kahf, so, or others. It's not only in our nation. People that they lived a good life, but they were oppressed. They were not honored. And on top of them, Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam and the prophets. Allah will bring them back. And the ones that they have not been punished, and as I said, they died in honor. And that's important. That's the key. Because they dared to be rebellious in front of God, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like that. Not a personal thing, of course, but what you understand, because they are rebellious in front of Allah. And I said the wisdom He is showing to everyone, especially the pious ones, that see, I didn't let you be down, right? I'll bring them back. See how much I love you. For your sake, I'll bring those wrongdoers back to life. Although I hate them, I don't want to look at them, but because of your sake, I'll bring them back. So, and I showed, and I will basically execute justice about them. So, with that in mind, quick, like brief introduction, we go read the verses of Quran. But before that, also, the question is it possible? Like, you remember when we were talking about Quranic patterns? Allah, when let me not keep you waiting. Allah set precedences, right, or give examples. If someone says, you know what, when we die, we only resurrect in the day of judgment, because this is unique aqidah about Shia. Like other non-Shias, they don't believe in Raj'ah. However, I mean, it is very explicit in Quran, this topic. And they say, you know what, when we die, there's no return on earth. That doesn't make sense. Allah has shown examples in the past that this has happened. Okay? Don't do istib'ad, right? What was the probability? Yes, like don't question the probability of it, or God doesn't do that. His plan is to resurrect everyone on the day of judgment. We say no, and He has done it before, and He has mentioned it in Quran. Of course, we don't question the power of God, but this is something that He has done. There are, I mean, you know those stories, right? But just picking two ayah that explicitly talking about previous examples of people returning to earth after their death. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألم تر إلى الذين خرجوا من ديارهم وهم ألوف حذر الموت فقال لهم الله موتوا ثم أحياهم إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. Muhammad Saleh, can you please read the translation? It's an honor to hear your voice.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Have you not regarded those who left their homes in thousands, apprehensive of death, whereupon Allah said to them, die. Then He revived them. Indeed, Allah is gracious to mankind, but most people do not give thanks.
Isn't that clear? A group of people, whoever they are, there were, Allah said, die, mutu, and then ثم أحياهم, He revived them. Or أو كالذي, of course, it's a few ayahs down after the previous one, or him who came upon a township. أو كالذي مر على قرية وهي خاوية على عروشها قال أنا يحيي هذه الله بعد موتها فأماته الله 100 عام ثم بعثه. The rest of the story. This one, please.
Or him who came upon a township as it lay fallen on its trellises. He said, how will Allah revive this after its death? So Allah made him die for 100 years. Then He resurrected him. Yeah, ends there.
Yes. So these two are just examples about the precedents. Yes, Allah has done that before, bringing people back to life. So the other
about the two brothers?
Sorry?
Is it about the prophet of the two brothers? One died and then one lived longer, and then He brought him back and they died the same age?
I think so. The Uzair, right?
The same time, no, the same time, yeah, they died, but different age.
No, I thought this was the guy with his donkey, I think.
Yes.
And then there's food.
Yeah, this is not two brothers. Yes. Then look at your food that is not corrupted.
Food and
the donkey was dead
composed
and decayed. Yes. But it's very interesting. The food was not rotten or anything. Yes. So there are two ayah that they talk about Raj'ah explicitly. One, A'udhu Billah, keep your microphone open, Muhammad Saleh. This is a very, very explicit ayah. وَيَوْمَ نَحْشُرُ مِنْ كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ فَوْجًا مِمَّنْ يُكَذِّبُ بِآيَاتِنَا فَهُمْ يُوزَعُونَ. On that day, exactly, on that day, whatever that day is, we shall resurrect from every nation a group of those who deny denied our signs. Muhammad Saleh was supposed to read, right? Go ahead, please. I was so excited, Muhammad. Go ahead.
On that day we shall resurrect from every nation a group of those who denied our signs, and they will be held in check.
Okay, so what is this day that Quran is talking about? That a group from people who denied our signs will be resurrected. Day of Judgment? Isn't that everyone will be resurrected on that day? Quran is very clear, very explicit about min kulli ummatin fawja. Not all of them. As we're going to see a beautiful hadith from Imam Sadiq sallallahu alayhi, Imam mentions what is about Day of Judgment and what is not. And the next ayah, maybe the first one you have heard about related to Raj'ah. We said it a lot or you might have heard it. But the second ayah might be also new for some of you. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَىٰ قَرْيَةٍ أَهْلَكْنَاهَا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. Read the translation, please.
It is forbidden for the people of any town that we have destroyed to return to the world. They shall not return.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean the translation might be bumpy, but the ayah, I don't want to say the ayah is bumpy, so but the ayah is purposefully vague. Okay, I don't know who coined that term, but that's a good one, especially in Quranic discussions. So it is forbidden. وَحَرَامٌ عَلَىٰ قَرْيَةٍ. It is forbidden for people of the town. Yes, in Arabic, when you say ظرف, you meant مظروف, which means basically you say the city, but you meant the people of the city, not the buildings and things. So that's good. The people of any town that we have destroyed. So if Quran is saying if we have destroyed a town or the people because of the adhab, it is forbidden on them to be returned.
Forbidden for them to not return. So they will come back.
No,
I don't. It could
would not come back. Exactly. Here Arabic is better.
No.
Yes.
Not to come back.
No. Don't think about it English. I know.
Key players, right? So they're not key players. You said key players are gonna come back.
We'll see the hadith also. But Arabic wise also haramun ala qaryatin. Okay, hold on. Pause. If you pause, وحرام على قرية أهلكناها. Period. أنهم لا يرجعون.
Is it two different sentences or one sentence?
Yes. Not حرام عليهم أن يرجعون.
I know, I agree. So it doesn't say forbidden on them to return. It's forbidden on them not to return.
No, it is حرام عليهم, and then it states أنهم لا يرجعون. They will not return. Yes, exactly. Yes. So
I think that the difference is the meaning of haram.
haram is forbidden.
Okay, so if it's forbidden on you to not return.
It doesn't say to not return. No. If she got it. If it meant one ayah to say it is forbidden to them to return, the ayah or the Arabic should have been haramun alayhim and yarji'un. not an la yarji'un. And the ayah says that, and I think one of the key to understand this is just to keep them separate.
Oh, we got that. Tell me what the ayah what the meaning of the ayah is trying to say. What meaning is trying to?
They will not return. The ones that we have destroyed will not return on earth.
But that does not go against Raj'ah, because we're saying that those people.
Okay, no, it doesn't. Don't worry. It doesn't go against Raj'ah. It's actually the ones that I said, ahsant, because they were already punished. They didn't die in honor. They are not the ones that they will return. They will not be returned because we destroyed them. This is completely my thing. We don't want to see their face again. Like others, we want to see their face because we want to punish them and to establish justice and to make the believers happy. But the ones that we already destroyed their towns and that we punished them in this world, we don't want to see their face. I mean, haramun alayhim. So look at this ayah, look at this hadith. It's very interesting. It talks about both narration. So let me actually ask Muhammad Saleh, can you read the English? I don't want to go and translate. This is 2 slides.
From Muhammad, from Imam Sadiq, who said, "What do people say regarding this verse? And on the day when we will gather from every nation a group." Quran chapter 27, verse 83. I replied, "They say it refers to the day of judgment."
So pause. Sorry. So you remember I said sometimes Imams alayhim wasalam, they initiate the conversation. So Imam asked Hammad. The whole chain are like the highly respected Shia scholars, because this is in Tafsir Qawmi Ali ibn Ibrahim from his father Ibrahim ibn Hashim, from Ibn Abi Umayr, and from Hammad. I think Hammad ibn Yahya, right? So Imam asked him, what Sunnis tell or say or explain about this ayah? What is the Sunni opinion about when Imam says Nas, people, it means Sunnis, like people. What do they say about this ayah? Imam reads the ayah. He said, they say it's about Day of Judgment. Continue, please.
Imam Sadiq said, "It is not as they say. Rather, this refers to the Raj'ah. Would Allah gather only a group of every nation on the Day of Judgment and leave the rest? The verse about the Day of Judgment is his statement. We will gather them and not leave out anyone among them."
So Imam says they confuse things, they mix things. This ayah is about Raj'ah because it says only a group of people will be resurrected. The ayah about Qiyamah is وَحَشَرْنَاهُمْ فَلَمْ نُغَادِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. When other ayat is talking about they're talking about the Qiyamah, they say we will not leave anyone behind. Everyone will be resurrected. Man, woman, young, old, mu'min, kafir, whatever you call it. فَلَمْ نُغَادِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. This ayah is about Qiyamah. They are confused and they are mixing the ayah. And the Imam alayhi salam continues similarly,
he's saying, "And it is forbidden for a town that we destroyed to return," also applies. Then Imam Sadiq explained, "Every town whose people Allah destroyed through punishment and who had reached pure disbelief will not return in the Raj'ah. But on the Day of Judgment, they will return. As for others who are not destroyed by punishment and who had reached pure faith or pure disbelief, they will return in the Raj'ah."
So the ones that they are mahadul kufra mahdha, like they reach the peak of kufr, aw mahadul imana mahdha, they reach the peak of the faith. They are the ones that return. So beside one wisdom or two that we talked about, that why Allah is doing this, also the question is, how is that related to us? Like, what is a practical thing? Why should I care? In another word, like, very respectfully, right? Why should I care about Raj'ah? And why do we have that in our du'as, in our ahadith a lot? وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ الرَّجْعَةَ حَقٌّ. I believe in your Raj'ah. I believe in Raj'ah. I believe in Raj'ah. Why? What do you think? Why it is important? Why should I care?
Is it justice of Allah being established?
Yes, that's exactly. That's what we talked about. This is important. That the rebels that they died in honor and they were not punished, Allah brings them back. Is justice of Allah, sovereignty of Allah, making the believers happy, and all of these are valuable things. But does it have any practical thing that for me that I should care more? Yes.
So that knowing, knowing about that will make me work so that I'll be back in the Raj'ah.
Ahsan.
Be amongst the believers.
Yes, very good. If I know that there is a chance, there is a possibility to come back to this world that most of us, if not all of us, are tired of, you know what? What do you want? I want to die. From a good perspective. Like, some people are like, this world is too much energy. Not from that perspective, too much energy, but it's too messed up. All these non-believers in power, everything, everywhere, all the governments are corrupted, blah, blah, blah. All of these good nagging that we have sometimes. Knowing about the concept of Raj'ah gives us hope and energy and motivation. And that's the wisdom, maybe one of the wisdoms that God had behind all of these. That don't be disappointed. Have trust in Allah. He has said, I got you. Okay? There is a chance that you come back to earth in that time that my promises have been fulfilled. The earth is filled with justice. Everyone will be on the path of Allah. And that's one of the reasons for hope. And we see this concept in many of ziyarat of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam in Raj'ah. The most famous one that you all know is what? No, the ones that talk about Raj'ah, to ask Allah to bring me back to earth. Dua. Why you say ahad? All right. I don't know, but that's interesting. Like, when Arabs, they say ahad, I'm like, yeah. Anyway, dua ahd, which is basically, I renew my pact, my promise with the Imam. And in that dua, we ask Allah, if your will is that I die before the coming of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, bring me back. And I want to be ready and be with, because I want to see that time. And in some of the ziyarat that you see when you go to Samarra and other times, like you see in the Mafatih, they are so beautiful. Oh, my Imam, if I died, I want you to ask Allah to bring me back, because I want to see those beautiful days. I want to enjoy the company, being with you in the time that your government is established and the promises of God have been fulfilled. So my point is, believing in Raj'ah is not only just a belief that, okay, I believe in that, who cares? Beside the justice of God and all, it's not only for non-believers. Don't you all Shias that you mourn for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, don't you want be in a time that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is governing the world? He is in power. The honor that Allah willed for him is realized. And that's something that we all love to see. And it gives us, because if there was, see this, I think this is a very beautiful and like fine line here and point. If it was the case that, you know what, inshallah we'll see Imam Hussein in hereafter, and I, with all my wrongdoings, I may not even have that chance. So I'll go to hell. Imam Hussein will go to paradise. I don't even see him, right? But if I know that we have in the hadith that Allah will bring back Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the one that has been oppressed, to govern and to lead the world. So doesn't that give us hope and motivation to try to be among those that they mahadul imana mahda, they reach the peak of the faith and they committed to do dua ahd, they committed to read these du'as and ask Imam alayhi salam and ask Allah to return us in those days, and we see those days. I tried to basically picture Raj'ah not just as a concept that we should believe in, right? It's a very, and maybe that's why it has been emphasized a lot in our beliefs in the hadith and in Quran. Any question before we go to, yes?
Why does in that verse say that you will bring from every nation a group, but like except the ones that were destroyed? Like why is it like a different verse?
Because, as I said, maybe because they were already punished. And that's the key, that they were removed. Yes.
Why does the verse say like every nation and not like except the ones destroyed? Like,
From every nation. Every nation is a very broad and purposefully vague term. It might be relating to each time. At any era, any generation, will be resurrected a group. In that case, the ones that we ahlaknahum, we destroyed them, like the people in that time, some of them, they may have not been punished, right? They were the rebels, right? Only one, for example, the city of Lut, right? It was destroyed, and we still see its signs, right? Remaining. And the groups that they were not, they will come back, or they will bring back to earth. And again, as Imam alayhi salam explained, it also applies to the mahadul iman, the purest one in faith as well, which we have in the hadith about ashab al-kahf. They will return, because also one of their prayers was, oh Allah, bring us back when only you will be worshipped on earth. And that time will come, and Allah will bring them back to, again, give them that happiness and joy of not living under the government of Taghut, rather under the government of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. All right. So, it's 11. Why? I thought we will have a lot of time today. So there are one more ayah related to Raj'ah. I wanted to add at least two more than what we talked before, Fawjan. So these two, the one that we talked about, Ahla Ghariyatan, and this one is very interesting. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قالوا ربنا أمتنا اثنتين وأحييتنا اثنتين فاعترفنا بذنوبنا فهل إلى خروج من سبيل. The context is general about non-believers. It's not about specific group. So they say, our Lord, twice did you make us die, and twice did you give us life. We admit our sins. Is there any way out? So, do we die twice?
Yes, Allah.
Sorry?
We do
Yes.
die twice.
When?
We die in this world, and then we die in the Barzakh.
We don't die in Barzakh. We just resurrect in Barzakh.
After Barzakh, then Barzakh is supposed to end on the end of time. The hereafter is to be realized. We die in Barzakh.
It's not called death, because death is not like, in that time, if you are referring to Nafkhaya Ula and the other one that the Israfil does, basically everyone, it's not death, it's just being vanished, like going to Adam. So it's not death. Death is like die in the day of Qiyamah. But this is before that. In the day of Qiyamah, in the day of judgment, they will say, God, you died us, which you make us die twice, and you make us live twice. Kind of leave us alone. That's it, right? That's enough. So Imam Baqir alayhi salam explains that the word of Allah in this ayah هو خاص لأقوام في الرجعة بعد الموت. It is not for everyone again. It is for those that they have been returned on earth during Raj'ah, but yet they will be taken to the court of justice of God in the day of Qiyamah. But the reason they say we died twice and we lived twice, that specific group or those specific groups, they died twice and they lived twice. That's why they say that. Not everyone. This is not what everyone says on the day of judgment. It's for a specific group. And Imam alayhi salam explained that this is about the specific groups that they so this ayah alludes to Raj'ah. That is not very explicit. But when we know it, we say, wow, interesting, right? That it is talking about the two death. So any question, any comments, anything?
Why were these people chosen to come back and be punished in return? Not that I know they were not punished. They were not punished like they died with honor. No, but I'm saying, like, why were they not like punished in the first time they were alive? What was their reason?
You mean like, for example, Shaykhain, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that basically, I mean, many other reasons and wisdoms, because otherwise the test wouldn't make sense. The good and bad would not be differentiated. Allah wants to let them have time so the goodness of good and the badness of bad be exposed and revealed. If you are saying why Shem was not, for example, punished in this world, or other tyrants like Qabil, if you start from the beginning, or the first caliph and second one, and others, or the killers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam throughout the history, because God, you see, when we know Raj'ah, it makes more sense, because God let them do whatever they want for other reasons, again, to the goodness of good be realized and people see that, and also test be meaningful, and the followers of Imam Hussein be differentiated from the wrongdoers, right? If Shem, when he was born, or like, not when he was born, but like right on the spot, would not be allowed to do what he did, things will be less meaningful, right? Does that make sense? So Allah let them do what they did, but not from a weakness perspective, out of weakness. He said, that needs to be happening because I want to distinguish between good and bad. To do so, I let the evil come to existence. I'm not doing it, but I let the others do it for other reasons. But وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Don't think that God is overlooking and ignorant and doesn't know about what the wrongdoers are doing. No, he has a master plan. He has a great plan for this world and hereafter. If they died without punishment and in honor, they will be brought back. The good doers, if they died weakened and wronged and oppressed, Allah will bring them back. Even to this, in this world, give them what they deserve on both sides.
So I was gonna say, for example, let's consider Shem. I think, I mean, he, for example, didn't die a good death, if I remember correctly. Like, let's say, Mukhtar took hopefully good care of him. And so what
Not as
is
good as God wanted or he deserved. Just
so
short
but
comment.
that's the thing. So I don't think, for example, like from the words of Ahlul Bayt, like they're not gonna torture them. Like, what's the point of them coming back just to die? They like, I mean,
Not to
God,
die, to be humiliated, to be tadallul. Like, what is a good word? Like, to be dhalil, huh? Humiliation. أين معز الأولياء? Don't we say that in dua nutbah? السلام عليك يا معز الأولياء ومذل الأعداء. That itself is important. Not just like feeling wise. In khalqah, it is important that the rebels, rebellious people in front of God to be humiliated. Otherwise, as if God has been defeated in this world. God says, me and my team are the winners. And we say that, we saw that in Quran when we were talking about the triumph of the religion and the promise of God. It's not about, okay, bring them back, let them die again. No. In other words, we saw that. I don't want to even see their face. But they should be humiliated. And that's important. And that's part of the sovereignty. That's part of the izzah of God. Al-izzatu lillah. The honor belongs to God. Someone may question that ayah. If al-izzatu lillah, we don't see that. Look at the history. People, they defeated God. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they think. It is more aziz that I bring them back, Like, I take them back. I know some of you may not like this example, but just to make sense of it, when US wants to punish those that they call terrorists or whatever, they go capture them in their place, bring them here, and say, see, and God will do that to them. Okay, don't worry. So that, no, it's not that he died. No, I'll capture him. They don't have the power to revive them. If they had, they would. I bring him here, take them to the court, and then execute them or do whatever, because that's important, not just as a competition. When we were talking about God, al-izzatu lillah, that's about tawheed. This is about the sovereignty and power of God, and that itself this is my last point, increases the ma'rifah of mu'mineen, the trust, the belief, the faith of believers in God when they see that happen, right? And also the heart of believers will be satisfied and happy. And all of these are valuable things. And God will do that during Raj'ah. That's why he has willed to do Raj'ah and bring those groups back. Yes.
When it says twice did you give us life, it makes me think both life would be similar in the sense that they'll be born again.
Not born, resurrected. Yes. They will be resurrected from their grave. Okay. So yes, inshallah, I will share all the slides in the group and I will post, inshallah, this to the group as well. And I want to thank everyone for your participation, great questions, comments, and support. Alhamdulillah, we were able to do this together. Stay tuned, inshallah, for future discussions, sessions about Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wassalam. Alayhi salatu wassalam. With that, inshallah, we will close our session and this series, inshallah, with prayers for the Imam alayhi salam and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten his reappearance and hasten the fulfillment of his promise that all prophets, all the believers, they are awaiting for and they want to see those bright times on earth. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه وشيعته ومحبيه، وامنن علينا برضاه، وهب لنا رأفته ورحمته ودعاءه وخيره. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد صلوات.